What is up, my tricksters? It's your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh! Superhero back again for another Fun Deck Friday. So, we're going to be talking about Tearalament branded in today's video. But before we get into that, Frank is going to tell you how you can support the channel. Take it away, Frank.
Hello, tricksters! If you would like to support this channel, here's an easy way for you guys to do so. The best way for you guys to support this channel, is first and foremost, check out that Yo Playmat link in the description below. If you click on that, you get 10% off, and who doesn't want a little bit of money off when you get custom sleeves and custom mats and all sorts of cool stuff. So make sure you check out Your Playmats, as well as the Ben 10,000 yugioh merch store on the Spring store. Make sure you check that out too, because look at all this cool artwork. And if you scroll down enough, you'll see something really cool that I really want to promote. It's stuff with my face on it, right here.
Thank you, Frank. All right. So today we're going to be doing things a little bit more like we used to. Last week it was really fun to showcase you my personal deck. Today we're going back to the Edo Pro. We are using my personal card pool still, as I do with most Fun Deck Fridays, although that may be subject to change in the future. I have not decided yet. So let's hop into that deck profile. Alright guys, so this is probably going to look a little bit weird to you because this is like the most budgety of budget builds. So let's get into this. Alright, we got one Dark Magician. We need this for the branded engine. It's a key piece. Shaddoll Beast. This card is also another key piece. It's one of the cards we're trying to mill off and pitch for cost for certain things so that we can draw a card as well as have our targets for our Shaddoll window that is in the extra deck. We got triple of the Sheeran. This is an extender. Mills 3. That's all you need to know about it. Also, like all the Tearalament monsters, they all fuse from the graveyard when they're sent there by a card effect. Albaz. Cool thing about Albaz that everybody forgets is this guy is basically Super Poly on legs. So, you know, if your opponent's wasted all their negates and you still have a normal summon and a card to ditch, boom, Super Poly away one of their monsters, and then it's board breaking time. All right, now we got the Sea Mare. This card is just Armageddon Knight, but for Aqua monsters. This card can also get an Aqua that's in the graveyard. So if we have a Tearalament that didn't trigger for whatever the reason, or maybe the fusion effect was negated during the end phase of this guy's in the field, we can tribute this card, and then we can get one of them back. Like, so it might be beneficial to get like a Harvness back or something. Armageddon Knight, we're just trying to send Beast and the Tearalaments. Harvness, is basically a hand trap. This card lets us mill, which can get us searches, draws, etc., as well as a chump block. Then we have our King of the Swamp. This card is integral. This is one of the cards that we're going to be using to make certain fusions because we don't have access to certain cards. We have a Kios. It's just for the branded combos. Then we have Tearalament's Miru. This card is in here to serve one purpose only, and it's just to be our normal summon. That's pretty much this card. The Armageddon Knight and the Mare are a normal summon where it's milling, it's fusion material, etc., etc. DD Crow. I don't personally own any of the Bestials. DD Crow works pretty well in the replacement area of that. As much as I would probably much rather have a Bestial, to be honest, because I have tested it. I just can't afford them. They're too expensive. So then we got Effect Veiler. This card is actually a decent card to have. It would be better if this was like infinite impermanence, but that's in my dinosaur deck right now. So, Effect Veiler will work in a pinch. Just be aware that this is Bestial fuel. So, this will give your opponent's Bestials a target, so be aware of that. You'll definitely notice that we try to mitigate that as much as we could with the card choices, so that's why we're playing what we're playing. Then we got Polymerization in here. This can get our, thanks to the Tearalament deck, because the Tearalament deck is just one of the handfuls of decks that can actually abuse this. We can use this as basically in Tearalaments, this is a 2 instead of a 1 fusion. So basically in Tearalaments, instead of it being a -2, it can be a break even or only a -1. We got the Grief. It's just to trigger a Tearalament. Like if we have a Harvness that's still out there for some reason, we can summon out a, Miru, get special, get more mills, that kind of thing. That's what its purpose is for. Um, we also have Foolish Burial Goods. Now, this card is very important for this deck, especially for the budget build of this deck, for those players who can't afford all of the Tearalament expensive cards like the Planet. We can't afford that. So what are we doing? We're going to play Foolish Burial Goods, and we're going to combo it with the Sluic. We got Branded Fusion in here. This card is just super powerful. Gets us access to our Dragoon and some of our other key fusions. Foolish Burial is in here. It's also to kick off a lot of our stuff. Excuse me. Call by the Grave, because we hate hand traps. Super Poly, because we hate broken boards. So this allows us to break the broken boards 9 times out of 10. Then we got Scream. It's basically mill 3, make our guys bigger, make your guys smaller, make our opponent's guys smaller, And then if this card is sent to the graveyard, it allows us to get to our Sluic. And Sluic is our negate, is one of our negation cards. So it's a very powerful card. It's also one of our targets for Foolish Burial Goods, because basically Goods becomes a reinforcement of the army. So that is kind of its primary purpose, is to either get us back a resource that is in the graveyard. And the cool thing about this build is, like I said, I tried to build something that was a little more bestial proof, so to speak. So that's what we're going with this one. So that's why we're playing a lot of the spells and traps we're playing. And then, of course, we're playing Branded Retribution. This card will give us back a milled Branded Fusion, which is why it's in here. It's one of the handfuls of cards. Like, our opponent will have to struggle through all the Tearalament plays, and then the idea is, at some point, we would either mill this or send it off with Foolish Burial Goods, get back a Branded Fusion that was milled, and then voila, we now have everything we need to break them. So that is what this card. And then if we have to, we happen to have an Albaz fusion monster on the field, we can set this card. It's Solemn Warning. Then we get to our fusions. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. I still am on team ban this card, but for now, while it's legal, we're going to use it. I got reprinted, so I got mine for like $20 or something like that. Not even $20. I don't remember how much I spent, but I spent like $15 on this one. And whether this card gets banned or not, that was worth it to me, because, if this card gets banned, like I think it should, it's for the more than it's for the collection, which is fine by me, because it does look cool. I just think that it's not a healthy card for the game, but that's a conversation for another day. Then we got the Buster Blader Fusion, the Destroyer Swordsman here. This card basically turns off the entire Bestial line. And seeing as a ton of players are using it and abusing it, this seemed like a really good idea to have. So, that's why we're playing it. Ultimately, this isn't just another way to get to our badass monsters. And that's why I'm doing it, because that's what he's here for. Then we got our Ice Blade Dragon. It's a 2-prong disruption. We send one of the Albaz fusions from the extract to the grave. We banish a card, non-targeting. That's really awesome. And then if he dies for any reason, we're gonna blow up our opponent's board in the end phase. That's useful. All right, so we are playing a Tearalament's Rukalos. The only way you are getting this out is it with a King of the Swamp. So that's one of the cool things about it. If King of the Swamp goes to the graveyard and Tearalament's goes to the graveyard, you can just tag into it, and I like that. We don't have to play Kit Kalos. It's last I saw it, it was a little pricey for my taste anyway. So, one of our Super Poly targets is Starving Venom. Dark Monsters are the rage. Predaplant, Dragon Stapelia, Dark Monsters are still the rage. We have fusions, so it's also our opponents are playing fusions a lot, so Super Poly. As well as it's a card that our Tearalament monsters can just make. It's how hilarious as that is. Lubellion gets us to the Bust Blitter Blader, gets us to the Rukalos, the Dragoon, whatever we need in the moment. The Ashen Dragon is the Ash Dragon is just in here to help us get to the Buster Blader with the sideboard. Then we got Albion. It's another path to get to Dragoon, but also helps us get to Winda. So that's why it's in here. Winda's in here. It's a powerful floodgate. Mud Dragon, it's one of the cards we're making with our Tearalament monsters, as well as being a super poly target as well. How funny is that? We Armageddon Knight, we make this card. Oh, look, now we have a fusion to make a Dragostopelia in future turns. Time Thief for Doer, it's one of the few XD's monsters that actually can trigger off a Sheeran, a Tearalament Sheeran. So that is why it's in here. It's going to trigger off Sheeran. Also, potentially, depending on what we take from our opponent, if this card could be being spot removal, could be draws, which we love that. Abyss Dweller, it's for better. It's for the better Tearalaments matchups or and graveyard based decks, unfortunately. I look forward to where like maybe this won't be required, but that'll be some time before that happens. But for now. Now for the sideboard, you do not have to play what you see here. I'm going to tell you what cards I think you should play if you're thinking about playing them at all. So here the big ones is you might want to have a Buster Blader in there or another type of fusion replacement type card to help you get to this, especially if you are up against lots of Bystials. You don't have to do Buster Blader per se. There are other options. I'm just letting you know that you're going to want something in there that will replace the Buster Blader or be Buster Blader to help you achieve getting to this, because if Bystials are going to be running around, you will want this card. It turns them off. It doesn't matter if they're in the hand, the field, or the grave. The swordsman here, guy, just turns them off completely. So keep that in mind. You will also want the Necro World Banshee with the Zombie World. I'm not gonna tell you what ratios. I did 2 and 2. I've seen other players do 3 and 1. And so just do whatever you feel is necessary for you. I'm going 2 and 2 just for safety's sake. Those are the only cards that I think you have to have in there. The rest of it, do what you think is best for you for your build version of the deck. I'm just doing basing off my personal collection, what I own, and this deck will probably get some improvements or reshaping as things happen on the ban list, because they are bound to happen at some point. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was a good Fun Deck Friday. And guys, stick around for some replay footage so you guys can see this deck in action. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.